السلام عليكم ورحمة الله وبركاته. بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم. الحمد لله رب العالمين والصلاة والسلام على المبعوث رحمة للعالمين نبينا مولانا محمد وعلى آله وصحبه أجمعين. أما بعد، وقد قال الله تعالى في القرآن المجيد بعد أعوذ بالله من الشيطان الرجيم بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم وإن كان ذو عسرة فنظرة إلى ميسرة وأن تصدقوا خير لكم إن كنتم تعلمون. وقال النبي صلى الله عليه وسلم من يسر على معسر يسر الله عليه في الدنيا والآخرة. صدق الله مولانا العظيم وصدق رسوله النبي الكريم ونحن على ذلك من الشاهدين والشاكرين والحمد لله رب العالمين. Respected friends and elders, for quite some time we've been discussing different ways to attain barakah in rizq. We've been discussing many different aspects related to it. And attaining barakah in rizq, as we mentioned many times, rizq is not only a person's wealth, rizq can also be a person's health, rizq can also be inclusive of many different things. But one main aspect of this is a person's wealth, a person's job, a person's livelihood. And so, in this livelihood, in this job, or in this person's wealth, there's another aspect, the flip side of the coin of a person's wealth is a person's debts. Oftentimes, people, they have to incur debt for different reasons. And Sharia actually discourages debt. A person should, to the best of their ability, live outside of debt. And that's why Umar radiallahu anhu, he would say that إِيَّاكُمْ وَالدَّيْنِ, stay far away from debts. فَإِنَّ أَوَّلَهُ هَمٌّ وَآخِرُهُ حَمٌّ. He would say that debts, the first of it is grief. And the last of it is war. The first of it is grief, and the last of it is war. Which goes to show that when a person and others have said that debts keep a person up at night, and so on. So the idea is that Sharia discourages debt. People should, as much as possible, live outside of debt. But in this current world that we live in, especially in this country that we live in, often debt is unavoidable. Oftentimes, debt is unavoidable. Yes, it's possible to live without debt, but it's also possible it's very unlikely. Most people, they're in debt some way or another. Some are in debt for longer periods, whether it's a house, whether it's car, whatever it may be. People are in debt in different ways. Unfortunately, now it's become such that people encourage debt. In this country, people encourage debt, unfortunately. These gurus and these financial advisors, they'll say that it's better to have debt. Whereas Sharia discourages debt. And so debt in this day and age, but this has always been the case that it's unavoidable. Oftentimes people, they need to borrow money either to buy a house. So those debts would be more related to financial institutions. So whether it's banks, whether it's Islamic banks, whatever it may be, we will not go into that today. We will be discussing that today. Today we'll be talking about the other form of debt, where that debt is taken from relatives or friends or family. The debt that we take from other friends or family members. That's the debt that we'll focus on today. Now, debts, of course, a person, as I mentioned, Sharia discourages debt. But today we'll talk about how from a Sharia perspective, from the aspect of Sharia, how can we attain barakah related to debts? We'll talk about that today. That's the topic of today, inshallah. So now there's two aspects. There's two aspects of debts. We're talking about personal debts, right? We're not talking about commercial debts. We're talking about personal debts. There's two aspects. One is the creditor, the other is the debtor. Creditor would be the person who's giving the money, Debtor would be the one who's receiving the money. Now, in respect to the debtor, we say, and Sharia says that that person should pay off his debt as soon as possible. That person should pay off his debt as soon as possible and stay out of debt. The hadith of Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam, he says, "Matarul ghaniyyi dhulmun." He says that the delay of a wealthy person of paying off his debt is dhulm, is oppression. So someone has the ability to pay off his debt, but he's not paying off his debt. This is dhulm. This is dhulm. Not too long ago, someone asked me a question. I believe it was from this community about what they should do about their father's debt. Their father's debt. That person's father passed away, and now the bank no longer will ask for that debt. So should we pay off his debts or should we leave it? I said, listen, these banks, they're not in a charity. They're not working for charity cases here. Right? Whether they have someone who asks or not, whether they can legally ask you for the debt, being a son, whether they can legally ask you or not, that's a different case. But your father is still indebted. He's still in debt to those banks. Right? So just because legally they're not asking you, does not mean that your father won't be held accountable for this on the day of judgment. Nevertheless, going back to personal debts. Personal debts from the side of the debtor, we say that he should pay off his debt as soon as possible. This is the Shari'i aspect. Now, on behalf of the creditor, this is our topic today. How can we attain barakah in the rizq being a creditor? So, the hadith I mentioned, and there are many hadith on this topic, which we will cover a few of them inshallah today. But if someone is loaning out money to a relative, to a friend, and that person wants barakah, he can find barakah. How? Rasulullah sallallahu alayhi wasallam, he says that man yassara ala mu'asir. Right? Oftentimes, again, people, they go into debt not because they want to go into debt, but because they are forced to go into debt due to some problem, some issue, whatever it may be. And so therefore, when they do go into those debts, Rasulullah sallallahu alayhi wa sallam said, man yassara ala mu'asir, the one who takes it easy or who is lenient with those who are in financial difficulty, yassara Allahu alayhi fi dunya wal akhirah. Allah will make it easy for him in this dunya, and Allah will make it easy for him in the akhirah. Right? So when someone is going as a creditor to give someone respite or being lenient in their approach, not demanding the money immediately. You know that this brother, this relative, this friend, he's struggling, and you know that he needs the money, and he's struggling right now. If you are able to, you should assist him. If you're able to, you should assist him. You should loan out the money. And if you loan him the money, right? Again, we don't believe in interest, right? We say that you should not, debts or rather loans are given for either one of two reasons. One is a person wants to do a favor to him, or second is a person wants the reward from Allah Ta'ala. These are the two reasons in Sharia we believe regarding debts. So now, the one who is a creditor, if he is able to, he should not demand the money immediately. If he doesn't demand the money immediately, Allah Ta'ala will bless him, Allah will make his life in this dunya, and Allah will make his life in the akhirah easy for him. This is the beauty of our religion. That yes, we know that this brother is struggling. We know that he's going through some difficulties right now. Take it easy on him. Don't demand the money immediately. When he's able to pay, then allow him to pay. Here's another beautiful hadith. It's a bit lengthy, but we'll make it concise. We'll go over a portion of it. Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam, he said, "Man nafasa an mu'minin kurbatan min kurabi dunya, nafasa Allahu anhu kurbatan min kurabi yawm al-qiyamah." That the one who grants respite to a believer because of some worldly problem or some worldly issue that they're facing, Allah Ta'ala will grant him respite from a problem in the akhirah. So you help someone you help alleviate a problem from someone in this dunya, Allah will help and Allah will alleviate a problem from you in the akhirah. It's the beauty of our religion. And then, وَمَنْ يَسَّرَ عَلَى مُعْسِرٍ, the one who makes it easy, or the one who is lenient with those who are going through financial difficulty. يَسَّرَ اللَّهُ عَلَيْهِ فِي الدُّنْيَا وَالْآخِرَةِ. Allah Ta'ala will make his life in this dunya, and Allah will make his life in the akhirah easy for him. وَمَنْ سَتَرَ مُسْلِمًا, the one who conceals the faults of a believer, سَتَرَهُ اللَّهُ فِي الدُّنْيا وَالْآخِرَةِ. Allah Ta'ala will conceal his faults in the dunya and in the akhirah. This hadith in itself, I can go the entire lecture just on this one hadith. Such a beautiful hadith. You remove a difficulty from someone in this world, Allah will remove your difficulty in the akhirah. You're lenient with someone in business here, Allah will be lenient with you in this dunya and in the akhirah. And you conceal the faults of a believer in this dunya, Allah will conceal your faults in this dunya and in the akhirah. And then this portion of the hadith is easily one of my favorite portions of the hadith. Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam said, "Wallahu fi auni al-abdi ma kana al-abdu fi auni akhihi." Allah Ta'ala remains in the assistance of his servants so long as his servant remains in the assistance of others. So long as you help others, Allah will help you. This is the beauty of our religion. If you continue to help other people, Allah will continue to help you. Now, you may see the help of Allah, you may not see the help of Allah. Sometimes maybe you may see that Allah Ta'ala is helping you, Allah is blessing you with different things. You got a raise in your work, you got a better job, you have children now, mashallah, and so on. This is you seeing the blessings of Allah. Other times, you don't see the blessing of Allah, but it's happening. How is it happening? Allah is removing problems from your life. You would have gone into an accident, Allah removed that from you. You would have gone through this health issue, Allah removed that from you. You would have gone through this problem, Allah removed it from you. This is the way that system of Allah is working. The system of Allah is constantly working and helping alleviate your problems because you are helping someone else. Because you're helping other people, Allah Ta'ala is helping you. Right? So this is the beauty of our religion, that we continuously help others and Allah Ta'ala will continue to help us, whichever way that may be, whether it's financial, whether it's any problem. You help someone move, right? Someone is moving, you're helping them move their houses. Allah Ta'ala will help you as well. Whichever way it may be, whichever case it may be. However you help someone else, Allah Ta'ala will help you as well. There's a beautiful concept in Islam. And I spoke about this maybe a year or so ago, that the ball bounces back. In Islam, the ball bounces back. So, meaning, if you throw the ball, generally, I don't know how you play handball. He's played here. So when you play, when you throw it, it comes back to you. Right? So the same way, if you do good to other people, Allah Ta'ala will do good to you. If you do bad to others, Allah Ta'ala will take retribution as well. Allah Ta'ala will take retribution as well. So it's important for us to understand that so long as we continue to help others and so long as we continue to remove the difficulties of others, Allah Ta'ala will continue to help us. Now, many of us have heard this hadith related to the 7 groups of people who will be under the shade of Allah's throne. Yes? Many of us have heard this hadith. There are 7 groups of people who will be under the shade of Allah's throne when there will be no shade except the shade of Allah's throne. That's one hadith. That's one hadith. Right? I've given a lecture on this as well. I'm exhausting all my lecture options. Nevertheless, right? Alhamdulillah. So we know that those 7 categories. There's another category. In another hadith, Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam, he says, "Man anzara mu'asiran aw wada'ahu adallahu Allahu fi dhillihi." That the one who gives respite, the one who grants respite or is lenient with someone who is going through financial difficulty, or he forgives the debt. Let's say Let's say someone owed you money. If you're able to, you should forgive the debt. You should automatically forgive the debt. You don't need the money, alhamdulillah, you forgive his debt. You know that this brother or sister is struggling, you say, you know what, you don't have to pay me back. That's the best case. Even if you don't do that, even if you say, hey, you know what, you can pay me back when you are able to pay me back. Even then, Rasulullah says, Allah Ta'ala will also shade him under the shade of Allah's throne. So those 7 categories, those are not exclusive. Meaning those are not the only 7 people who will be under the shade of Allah's throne. But there are others as well, including this person, the one who is lenient with others. Sometimes what happens is, you know someone is struggling, you know someone is going through financial difficulty, but he's not asking you. And sometimes it's a close relative, a family member, a close friend. They will not ask you. Especially in those cases, you should try and help them out. Without them asking you, you should try and help them out. And you should loan them some money. You can tell them, is this a loan? Or you can say, listen, this is a gift for you. And so if you do this, Allah Ta'ala will take care of you. Allah Ta'ala will remove your difficulties. There's a beautiful story of an individual who comes before Allah Ta'ala. This person, he comes before Allah Ta'ala, and Allah Ta'ala asks him, what did you do? You can imagine how scary this must be. Standing before Allah, and Allah asks that person, what did you do with the life that I gave you? This person will say, Ya Allah, there's nothing I can present before you. There's no good deed that I can present before you. Such a scary statement. He will say, Ya Allah, there's no good deed that I can present before you. And so Allah Ta'ala will ask him 2, 3 times. Will ask him 3 times. Is there any good deed that you can present before me? And so this person will say, Ya Allah, there's nothing that I can present before you. And so finally, after Allah Ta'ala asks 3 times, at the 3rd questioning, he will say, Ya Allah, you know, أَيْ رَبِّي كُنْتَ أَعْطَيْتَنِي فَضْلًا مِنْ مَالٍ فِي الدُّنْيَا. Oh my Rabb, you had given me some money. You had given me some virtue, some money, some wealth of this dunya. فَكُنْتُ أُبَايِعَ النَّاسِ. I used to deal and I used to have transactions, make transactions between the people. وَكَانَ مِنْ خُلُقِي أَتَجَاوَزُ عَنْهُ. And it was amongst my habits that I would be lenient with others. وَكُنْتُ أُيَسِّرُ عَلَى الْمُعْسِرِ. And I would make it easy on those people who were struggling. Or I would make it easy on those people who had the financial ability to pay off. And I would give respite to those people who were not able to pay it off. So he says, that's the only thing that I can present before you. The only good deed I can present before you is that I used to be lenient with people in business. Allah Azza wa Jalla will say, نحن أولى بذلك منك تجاوزوا عن عبدي. Allah Ta'ala will say that, listen, we are more deserving of pardoning, we are more deserving of forgiving, and we are more deserving of being lenient with you. So forgive my servant. And so that person will be forgiven. This person only had one good deed. Only one good deed he had, which was to be lenient in business. So when we're transacting, when we are discussing, we are loaning out money to others, whether it's a family member, whether it's a friend, whatever it may be, we should try to be considerate of their situations. We should try to be forgiving if possible. If we're not able to be forgiving, at the very least, we should give them respite. And the fact is that just as that person is in a difficult situation today, one day I may be in that difficult situation. One day I may be struggling. One day I may need money. And so just as I would like someone to be kind, I would like someone to be lenient with me, that's why I should also be lenient with others. I should also be considerate with others as well. I'll mention one one more hadith on this topic. This is such a beautiful hadith. Imam Ahmad quotes this hadith. And he quotes Sulaiman ibn Buraidah, he narrates from his father. He says, I heard from the Prophet ﷺ that when أنظر معسرا فله بكل يوم مثله صدقة. That the one who is lenient or the one who grants respite to someone else for a loan that he gave, for every single day, he will get that amount of charity. For every single day that passes, he will get that amount of charity. You give a person $1,000, you loan out $1,000 to a person. For every single day that passes, you get that amount in charity. This is a Sahih hadith, by the way. And so he says, the one who grants respite to someone, for every single day he gets that amount in charity. He gets the reward of that amount in charity. Then this narrator, he continued. He says, another time, I heard Rasulullah ﷺ saying, "Man أَنْظَرَ مُعْسَرًا فَلَهُ بِكُلِّ يَوْمٍ مِثْلَيْهِ صَدَقَةٌ." He says that the one who grants respite to someone facing difficulty, he will get, for every day that passes, he will get double that amount in charity. He will get double that amount in charity. So now, this person is confused. And so he goes to the Prophet ﷺ and he asks, Ya Rasulullah, one day I heard you saying that the person who grants respite, he will have that amount of charity. Another time I heard you say that the person who grants respite, he will get double that amount of charity. So can you explain? So the Prophet ﷺ, he says that for every day until the debt is due, let's say you told the person that, you know what, you can pay me back in 1 month. Pay me back in 30 days. So for every single day that passes, you get that amount in charity. After that day, after those 30 days passes, then you get double that amount in charity. So a person, he gives $1,000 as a loan to someone else. And when he does that, for every single day that passes, whether it's one month, whether it's 6 months, every single day he gets the full reward of $1,000 in charity. After that 1 month or 6 months passes, let's say the person, he asks for some more time. He says, can you give me some more time? Is it okay? I can pay you back in 1 year. So every day after the due date, you will get double that amount in reward. You will get double that amount in charity. This is how beautiful our religion is. And this is how considerate Allah is with all of His servants. Right? That yes, from the creditor's perspective, this person, he should be lenient. From the debtor's perspective, that person should pay off immediately, as soon as he possibly can. But let's say he cannot pay it off. Even then, in that case, if the creditor is lenient with that person, then he will find the daily amount every single day, $1,000 every single day, whatever amount it may be. He gets that amount in charity. This is such a beautiful concept for us to think about. That oftentimes, as I mentioned, right, there are certain friends or family members that need some assistance. And if we're able to, we should reach out to them. If we're able to, we should assist them. If we're able to, we should even forgive that debt. If you're not able to forgive the debt, at the very least, you should grant him respite. So you can pay me back a few months later. You can pay me back when you're able to. And you'll find all of these rewards. You'll find so much reward for every single day that passes. For every single day that passes and the debt is due, you get double the amount of reward. You get double the amount of sadaqah. Someone borrows $1,000 from you. Imagine for months and months, every single day, you're getting $1,000. You're getting $2,000, for example, in charity. This is how beautiful our religion is. And this is how you and I, we should be lenient in our business. If we're lenient in our transactions, if we're lenient in our debt collection, then Allah Ta'ala will be lenient with us. Allah Ta'ala will shade us under His throne. There will be no shade except the shade of Allah's throne. We know that on the day of judgment, the sun will be 1 mile above a person's head. 1 mile, not millions of miles. 1 mile above a person's head. How that will be? Allah knows best. How a person will not burn and disintegrate? Allah knows best. But this is a reality. The Prophet ﷺ said it. He said that the sun will be 1 mile above a person's head. On that day, if you want to be part of the VIP circle, if you want to be a part of those who are shaded under the shade of Allah's throne, then of course you must be lenient. You must be considerate of others. You must be forgiving in your debts. That way Allah Ta'ala will take care of you just as you are taking care of the servants of Allah Ta'ala. Allah Ta'ala gives us the tawfiq to understand and practice. Allah Ta'ala allow us to be lenient in our transaction. Allah Ta'ala allow us to be considerate of others just as we would like for others to be considerate towards us.